Hi, this is Donna from Clever Crafting. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is such a lovely card that we're making. It's going to take you a little while to make the card, but it's well worth it. All of the steps are here for that. And of course, we do have the link below to the PDF, which will give you all of the supplies list. So this sample here is made with a panda bear, but the one we're making today is with some really cute koalas. All right, so this is just showing you the template. I like to make a template out of some lightweight, cheap card stock. I normally write the measurements on, I just haven't done it on that yet. So getting underway, these are the pieces that we're going to need. This is just a random that we're not going to need. It just wanted to peek in here. So this first piece is actually 17 centimeters wide by 8 centimeters tall. And we are actually going to score this at 4 centimeters, 8 centimeters, 12 centimeters and 16 centimeters. So effectively every 4 centimeters. And we're going to do the same with these pieces, which are 17 centimeters by 4 centimeters wide. This will give us a little 1 centimeter piece at the edge that we're going to fold over and burnish well. And then we're going to do the same with all of the other folds, the other score lines. When making a pop-up, it's really important that you do these folds. You line them up at the top, at the bottom, and you fold it all one way and burnish it, then you fold it back the other way and burnish it, and then you fold it back the original way again and burnish it again. So the reason that we do this is because it makes our folds really nice and flexible without interfering with the integrity of our cardstock. So this will just make it so the pop-up pops up and down nice and easily and folds and keeps our card as flat as possible. So along this 1 centimeter edge, we're going to make that a tab by just cutting some little notches in the edges on the corners there. And we're going to do the same on the 4 centimeter pieces. Now I've slowed this right up because there was a piece missing from my video. These are the small pieces. This one is 8 centimeters by 1.5 centimeters. You can see that it is scored a little bit differently. This one is 7 centimeters by 1.5 centimeters. This one's actually scored at every 1.5 centimeters. And this one is 6 centimeters by 1 centimeter. And we have scored just 1 centimeter each end of this particular tab. So this one we're not going to make a box out of. We're just using that as a brace to hold some of our pieces a little bit later. Now all of these measurements and the score lines where they have to be scored are on the PDF that's linked to the video. So I'm sorry I missed filming that piece, but that's what you'll be able to do it from the PDF. All right, so now what we're doing is we're making up these little boxes for our pop-up mechanism. So on the tab of the first one, you can see that I'm popping glue on the top of the tab. Now, I'm really making sure to pay special attention that I've got enough glue on the edge of the fold. Now, not over the fold line, but right up to the edge of the fold line. This is really important because that is the place that's going to have most pressure. And you can see here that what I'm doing is folding it one way and then folding it the other way to make sure it goes nice and flat in my card. Now on the two 4 centimeter boxes, 4 centimeter tall ones, we're actually putting the tab over the top. The reason that we're doing this is because when we put it together, you'll see that we put it together in a way that we will not see any of these tabs. So it's kind of like when you make a fully lined dress so you don't see any of the seams. That's what we're trying to achieve here. Once again, we're folding it one way, then folding it, pressing it down flat the other way to make sure that all of those folds are nice. And I just did that to both of those. This is at the front of my card. This is the front of my card, and we're going to make this really nice and simple. So we start with 2 rectangles. I've got a nice wide border on my card. Now you can see that there's a notch missing out of this front patterned paper. That's not by design. It's just that that was a scrap piece and that little piece was missing. So I just put a koala over it. No one will know the difference. So of this actual cardstock, the inside of the cardstock of the card I don't like very much, so I'm covering it up, but I love the result. So I've used Australiana type paper from a Kaisercraft paper pad, and I have used my metric rectangles to cut out an A6 size, and then I've used to make a frame. You can see that it overlaps. We'll talk about that in a minute. Then I've used the next metric rectangle down in size. You can use whatever you've got. You can just cut pieces with a paper trimmer. And I'm fitting that in that other frame, so it covers that whole piece. So there's the metric rectangles that I used. Now, when I do this, I'm butting that up against the fold. Once again, it's not going over the fold line in the center of the card. So there is a piece overlapping that I just need to trim once I've put it all in. And you could see then that I've done it on both sides of the card. Now we're going to construct our pop-up mechanism. And I'm just showing you in there, and sorry, it went off screen a little bit then. The fold, the actual tab, is in that center front point that I've got there. And on this piece, I've laid it flat and I have got the fold at the top there. And I am popping glue in that little section to the fold line. Once again, paying attention that I'm putting glue up to the fold line, but not over it. And I am going to glue this in place on my 8 centimeter tall card. It's still flat and it should reach the top. I'm positioning it so it is butted up to the center, but not over the center. We're going to keep talking about these fold lines. Just going to use my bone folder to make sure that that's well pressed in, that glue down the bottom there. You could use just double-sided tape. I prefer to use glue in case I muck it up. Trust me, that happens a bit. I'm just showing you here that you will find that when you do this, although these are both 4 centimeter sections, the one that we've added, the small cube, will go over the edge a bit, but that's okay. It's not going to make any difference to our card. The reason it's going over is because we've given that little space in the center section. So now we're going to do the other 4 centimeter cube. We're doing exactly the same thing, putting the glue up against the fold lines, lining it up on the bottom, up to but not over the center fold, and we're going to press that down to make sure that we've got a really lovely connection. I'm going to grab my bone folder again, just press that down inside to make sure that it's nice and secure. And you can see here is our pop-up mechanism. Awesome. It's very important that we try and have that as square as possible as well. Now we're going to pop it in our card. So one of the things when putting it in the card is that we have our top point lined up with our center fold of the card and that bottom point lined up with the center fold of the card. Just spin my card around so I can line it up a little bit better. And you can see that I'm moving it fairly close to the top of my card. The reason that I'm doing that is because it gives me more room to add pieces on, and they won't show out when it's folded. Now I am putting glue. I folded up that 4 centimeter cube again against the 8 centimeter tower, and I've popped glue just on the bottom quarter of it. I've lined up my top point, the fold at the top, and the bottom fold. This is much easier to see it this way. You can see I've lined up the top fold with the center score of my card, the bottom fold with the center score, and made that as much of a square as I possibly can, the shape of it. And I'm pressing down the glue using my bone folder for that small cube. Now it's just showing you there the direction that this is going to fold. I can fold it down, and this is how it's going to close up in my card. So what we need to do is glue that. Let me show you again. We're going to line that up. So the point at the top and the point at the bottom is on the fold line of the card. We're going to gently pull that down from the cube that's attached. And in that top little square of this 4 centimeter cube, we are going to pop some glue around the edges. And this time we're going to close the card onto our mechanism to make sure that it glues at its natural point. This will make for a nice smooth running pop-up. So here it is, and ta-da! That works like a charm. Beautiful. Now you will see we've got this little point sticking out here. That's simply because I have the measurements that I've used. I wanted to keep the pop-up a little bit bigger, and I had to sacrifice that corner to do so, but that's fine. No one even notices it. All right, so now we're going to attach our little pieces. So the pieces, we've got once again the fold on the outside. So when you fold these up, even though we didn't have this on the video, when you fold them up, you'll fold the tabs on the outside. I am lining up that tab. I've put glue on that small section, exactly the same as I did for the 4 centimeter cubes. And I'm just plonked that on the 4 centimeter cube. Now I'm going to do the other side. So I fold it flat, making sure that my fold is going to go into the folded tab is going to go into that edge there of my 4 centimeter cube next to the 8 centimeter tower. And they're both lying flat. So now I'm going to put some glue just in the section that's closest to the tower. And I'm going to close my card. Give it a press and everything is perfect. Look at that. So I think I got it. I think that was a little bit wet there, that glue. All right, so now it's time to decorate. So here's my cute little Christmas koalas. And you can see that I have got some gum leaves there that I actually got from Snazzy Scrapping. Is another company here in Australia that I got those dies from. Absolutely gorgeous. And I am just going to stick my koalas on there. So you can see that I'm putting glue on the pop-up tab there and then sticking my koala onto it. By the way, the koalas didn't come from Snazzy Scrapping, just the leaves, the gum leaves did. All right, so we forgot to add this little piece, so we're going to do it now. So this is the piece that goes in the center. This is the 6 centimeter piece. Now we can join this across one way or the other, but what we cannot do is cross it in a perpendicular angle. So you have to attach it to the 2 parallel ones. So you can, I'm going to attach it on the one that's closest to the left-hand side and the one that's on the right-hand side of the back. And you can see that I've made kind of a Z fold, a sleeping Z because it was on its side, of the little tab piece to put inside. So this is actually a holding place. It's kind of like a shelf, I guess. So I've just put some glue on that 1 centimeter tab and I've moved it closest to the front. The reason that we do that is, interestingly, that's going to give us the ability to have a greater height of an embellishment coming out of there. So now we can see what's going to happen. So if I pop my koala in that section, it's going to, like if it's at the back of that tab, you can see it's peeking out. But if I glue it closer to the front of that shelf, it won't peek out. So I'm going to pop some glue on the branch that my Christmas koala is hanging onto, and I am just attaching that in the front, you know, the closest to the front section of that little tab. Look at him hanging out there. He's so cute. And now when I close it, you can't see him. So I finished decorating my card and here's the end of it. This is it all finished. Gum leaves, koalas, so super, super cute. As I said, this is such a cute card. Now, one of our subscribers mentioned in an earlier video, Gina, her name is, and she sends cards to her mum. So Gina, I hope you're able to make one like this and send it off to your mum and that she enjoys it. Here are some close-ups of this one that we've made today, plus close-ups of a couple of others that we've made. Now, I did do an online class for this on Friday just gone. If you go over to our Facebook group, I'll put a link for that below as well. You'll see some of the amazing creations from the ladies in my class. Will be posted on that Facebook page. So here's one that I did with strawberries. I actually inked up and designed that whole background. So that's something I will do, a technique I'll show in a class coming up. And here's a close-up of the little pandas. I hope you learned something today, and if you did, it would be such a great help for me if you subscribed and gave me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if there's anything particular you'd like to see, and until next time, stay safe and happy crafting.